Friends, hello, let's talk about Ford. Okay, so obviously Ford has hit a little bit of a hiccup here, but I'm still very bullish. I'm still very bullish that this thing is going to continue to run up here. Now, obviously, Ford has just had this little bit of hiccup here with Rivian. Ford and Rivian were working together in an alliance, but as of recent of November 19th, Ford CEO Jim Farley said Ford is now confident it can design and manufacture EVs on its own. So it's not a terrible breakup. It's really not that bad. And to be completely honest, I kind of like this even better. I think this is going to be great for Ford in the long run because obviously if you are in the stock market and obviously if you are paying attention to car stocks, EV stocks, you obviously know that the market is responding very heavily to EV car manufacturers. And that's great. That's good if you invest in that. And that's why you see every car maker out there making electric cars. I don't really think there's any car maker right now not making some sort of electric vehicle. But Ford is really pushing into the EV market. They are not only really pushing into new designs with their gasoline engine driven vehicles, but electric vehicles as well. So this is really pushing Ford stock to new levels that it has not seen in a long time. Now personally, I believe Ford can sustain these numbers. I believe Ford can grow on this, especially if they come out with some sort of EV truck, EV vehicle, car, whatever it's going to be, to where it grabs the attention and, the common person responds to it, and obviously at this point can afford it too. That's a really big thing right now. So, even with Ford being down right now, and when I say down, I obviously that I'm saying that very slightly. I don't really consider this being down for Ford. We're still at an almost $20 bid price for this, so it's still pretty high, let's be honest here, compared to just what we were doing last year. So obviously we have conquered this high teen mark with Ford, sitting around this 18 to 19 bid price for this, and we're still keeping great volume. Ford is still keeping really high active volume. I mean, look at this right here. The last 2 weeks have been terrible in the market, but Ford has still been pushing some pretty high numbers here with volume, but ending out the week at 50 million, and obviously if you were in the market Friday, it sucked. Unless you were just buying a lot of stocks that were heavily on sale. So right now, obviously, this $20 mark right here is the wall right now with Ford. It's trying to break this. It's trying to sustain breaking it, but it's having a hard time with that. And obviously, when we're hitting these new levels, going into over a 20, over into a 25 mark, dollar bid price, obviously, there's going to take a lot more volume. There's going to take a lot more investors. And there's going to take a lot more people buying and keeping shares and, buying calls, and of course, there's people buying puts on this as well. There's people betting against this right now. But I would be very cautious betting against Ford right now because there's still a lot of high positivity on the stock right now. Even, talking about this Rivian deal, the stock went down a slight bit, but people are actually still responding to this very positive because they like that Ford is kind of focusing on Ford and not so much, taking and, working with Rivian. And a lot of people are saying that Ford might come out the big winner here with their design of where they're going to go with the EV market. And obviously they're not going to beat Tesla. They're going to have some strong competition with Rivian and Lucid. And Tesla's just not even in the conversation. Tesla's so far ahead, it's just not even, it's laughable. So friends, to say the least, I am still very bullish on Ford. I see this as a really good investment going into 2022, especially with where the EV market is headed. I think this EV market situation is always going to be up and down situation. It's going to be high one moment, it's going to be down one moment, it's high, down. It's going to be a little bit of a back and forth situation. But in the long run, it is a good stock. It is a good investment to be in the EV market with, a handful of EV stocks. And I believe Ford is definitely in that handful. So friends, with all that said, I'm just letting you know where I'm at with Ford. I'm still very bullish on this. I'm still very excited about it. And going into 2022 here, I think Ford is really going to do some new things. It's really going to prove some people wrong. And it's definitely still going to be a top contender here with the automobile market. So friends, with all that said, remember, be positive, be you. Take time to invest in that future of yours. Friends, I will talk to you very soon. Bye, everyone.